Caius de Gracilis thought the Imperial Ascendant's last move had been masterful. With a single sentence, he'd upset a game that had been moving against him without his knowing it. Alexander de Finita had called Caius to the throne room. Then he'd asked him a simple question. "Would you support the marriage of your grandson and Cain's wife?" Caius was careful to show nothing on his face, but said, "I don't mean to question your wisdom, my liege, but would that be a wise choice? Would it not anger the Titan even more?" "Former Titan, Caius," the Ascendant said from his throne. "Of course, my liege, former Titan. Would it anger him more? Is provoking him something we should do?" "I don't think of it as provoking him, Caius. I think of it as ripping his heart out. How many trillions of kilometers away is he now? By all accounts, he's moving toward the Stargate and will be coming back to our galaxy." Caius looked at his feet for a second, trying to make a decision about something he hadn't seen coming. "Is there some other reason you don't like the planned marriage?" the Ascendant asked. Caius shook his head and raised his eyes to Alexander's. "No, you might be right. It might weaken Cain, and I give my full support to anything that will do that." A masterful stroke. Caius was still impressed 2 days later. He and Hector had gone a few thousand kilometers from the Imperial residence. Caius wanted to spend a few hours out there before heading back. They were hiking through red mountains and canyons, rocks that had been there for millions of years and would be for millions more. Caius's normal long robe had been shortened and the sleeves removed so he could walk in the tremendous heat without keeling over. He had the stealth blanket in his robe's pocket. The Ascendant would know they'd made this trip at such a crucial time, and though they were far away, Caius was prepared for the potential of Alexander listening in. They'd mostly been silent on their ride here, discussing little more than the weather. Of course, Caius understood that the Ascendant understood why he'd taken this trip, but it was necessary, because Hector wouldn't be leaving Earth any time soon. Now, with the transport 2 kilometers behind them, grandfather and grandson walked over the ancient rocks, taking in the views all around them. "He's pushing you into a realm you're not prepared for, Hector." The older man went to the cliff's edge and looked down at the long fall beneath him. "It's one your father would have been able to maneuver even better than me, just as you're a finer warrior than me. But to put you here? It shows the Ascendant is more clever than I gave him credit for, and that's my fault." He was mostly talking to himself, but he looked over his shoulder at the hulking mutant behind him. "You'll be staying on Earth while I go back to Mars to prepare for war." "Why wouldn't the bride and I go back?" Hector asked. Caius smiled somewhat sadly. He'd planned for so long, and he'd thought this war would be the time his family would take charge. However, now the warrior had to become the politico, and there wasn't enough time to train him. "Luna Cain will never be let out of the Ascendant's custody. She is his trump card, since as long as he holds her, the husband must take that into account." The old man turned to look at the old rock. It would outlast them all, remaining until the sun exploded. In some ways, he saw it as a metaphor for the Commonwealth. The government, the bedrock on which society was built, had outlasted generations of men. Was this Titan the supernova that would destroy it?